against Team Massive, throwing Thresh Band, of course, and Casted in Italy. Pretty standard bands coming in. Fly
Soda
has
band.
been, yeah, it's very surprising against Kinch. Kinch known more for his Zyra play than anything else.
Yeah, that's right. Huh, that's Sona Ban. That's interesting because neither really a meta champion nor one that you really need to worry too much about. Do you think this says more about the picks the Stealths want to take rather than the worry they have about Kinch's Sona play?
Possibly. The thing to remember, too, is that Ink, now known as Che, was a big-time Zyra player as well.
Yeah.
In fact, his most successful lane with Ink and OQ on Zenix Storm was Zyra Caitlyn and their ability to aggressively zone out their opponents.
So it looks like it's going to be a Nami for Kinch instead if they lock this in. Lulu the first pickup for the Jin Air Stealths, and they're going to... Syndra's going to go to the Invengers.
So Evelyn, and I don't think Captain Jack's going to be playing Draven, but the Jax pick is still available should they want it. And there's LeBlanc. Trace could be playing the Lulu up in the top lane.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Jax also available as well, too. A lot of strong picks. Kazakhs. The weird bans have led to a lot of strong champs getting through that we usually don't see make it all the way. At least not this number of them, you know?
Yeah, but we did see the pocket bans kind of Sona and Riven, so there are a few more high-tier champions in play.
Exactly.
And Kog'Maw possibly picked up here with Nami. Always a good combination to peel for. A very common combo, also strong in the laning phase. We see it quite frequently here in Korea these days.
And there's that Elise. Now, we saw Elise paired pretty well with Twisted Fate yesterday. Do you think maybe we might see that again today?
Possibly. I mean, I don't really know much about Necklet, but Fly also a very dangerous Twisted Fate player. As we said, when the Stealths were playing in Masters this last season, he was really the first one to bring back TF, and he had just a really great game on that champion alongside a lot of other good games on Nidalee and Mid Karma.
Well, yeah, I didn't think we were going to see the Quinn. And yep, there's Lucian and Leona locked in. The double L lane.
This is a really good composition from Jin Air. They've got great engage. They have really good targets for the wild growth. So they've got a lot of versatility here as well. They can both create picks and 5v5 team fight and split push very effectively. So I really like the way the draft has gone for the Stealths. They have a ton of versatility right now.
Well, that Ziggs pick would make a lot of sense for the Invengers. At this point, you know, when you see that comp and you see the engage, the tendency is to kind of go, all right, let's just play safe and kind of pull back for the late game. And will it work or not is the question. But, you know, with Ziggs, Kog'Maw, it's a stronger late game, but will they be able to stop the engage with Nami?
And especially if an Evelyn flank comes in, that is going to be very difficult. And you playing for the late game against Jax is not usually the wisest of decisions.
True too. Well, Lucian as well. I mean, he does get
Yes, he gets very strong.
Not like a Jax, but still. Thinking about locking it in. And they will. All right, so Ziggs locked in for Necklet.
So, as you were saying, pretty good peel for Kog'Maw right here, but in spite of that, the scaling advantage will still go over to the Jin Air Stealths. And yes, they've got some good disengage from Ziggs and Nami, but even so, the amount of engage on the Jin Air Stealths is perhaps even too much for those two champions to handle.
Yeah. Well, it's a big moment for Captain Jack and the rest of the Jin Air Stealths. They didn't get into Champions last season. They desperately want it this time around. I mean, they're putting some of their players on planes now. I mean, if your company is putting you on a plane, you should get into Champions. It's the least you can do, you know?
Well, I think they're definitely the favorites coming in tonight after their solid season in Masters, and then the desperation that they have to make it in and do well.
Well, it seemed like a bit of a fluke already last season that they didn't make it in.
It was indeed.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Our roster for the first game of the night. We'll see if the Invengers have what it takes to take on a heavily funded, heavily supported team like the Jin Air Stealths. Kind of a revamped Stealths as well.
Yeah, it is really cool, though, that new sponsors are continuing to come out of the woodwork to support kind of more amateur teams here, give them the gaming houses and a chance to get in. You can really tell how healthy the League of Legends esports infrastructure is in Korea right now, and it just continues to grow.
That's right. Well, here we go, guys. The game is loading up. Who will move on to the winners match? Will it be the Invengers with Buzz and Woody, I guess? Or will it be the Jin Air Stealths? Let's get in the game and find out. And here we go. Another lovely view of our players. Are we going to have a pause? Yes, we are. Okay. Well, then that gives me time to clarify. Just to make sure everyone's on the same page, Rouching is Buzz Lightyear, and Redida is Woody. All right? Write it down. Keep that in mind.
Oh, boy. What have you got planned?
If
By the way,
if there's a gank, they've got a friend in the other one.
Wow, I didn't think you'd just spill your guts that easily.
No, I've got a lot. Don't worry. It's fine.
How come every qualifiers we end up talking about Toy Story? Have you noticed this?
Yeah, or just Disney in general. I mean, the players here love Disney characters.
Because
Piglet and Pooh, I mean.
But last qualifiers, remember that day that we had to cast 8 games and we got really loopy?
Yeah,
and then
that does happen.
We ended up talking at length about the gritty Toy Story reboot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And now we have the Toy Story again.
I'm glad we've
always
come
a
full
part of
circle.
qualifiers.
Yeah.
Apparently, we nearly missed it on the last day, but
Well, it's time to talk about the sequel then to the gritty Toy Story reboot. In the beginning of this one, like the first 5 minutes, either Woody or Buzz has to die.
of course,
It's got to happen, you know? It's like they meet together to discuss the events of the past film, and they're like, oh, thank goodness our lives are peaceful now. And then,
but
like,
it's actually a betrayal for one of them. So it's a
Ooh.
Buzz Woody murder.
that's true. And then, like, as Woody dies, he's like, oh, what a buzzkill. Or then if Buzz dies, he can go, a two Woody. The great Greek tragedy of when Woody killed Buzz.
That's Roman Doa.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. One of those, I don't know.
Julius Caesar the Greek.
They built pillars and things like that. I'm distracted tonight, man, all right?
Doa, you've really shown an astounding knowledge of classics. This
I
week
really
during the
have, haven't I?
qualifiers.
Thank goodness none of my college professors watch this show. I believe it was the great Socrates that said, history ain't nothing. Pretty much. Yeah. I just watched Bill and Ted too many times growing up.
That's a great movie.
It is great.
We should watch that together sometime.
We should. I'm fine with that. That and Surf Ninjas. Guys, Monty has not seen Surf Ninjas
Still tragic.
yet. Yeah, it is, actually. Surf Ninjas is great.
I've been berated by both you and Kobe about that.
Yeah, Kobe knows, man. Surf Ninjas is a great film. It's true. You'll learn so much. Not about history, but about
Surfing ninjas.
surfing ninjas.
That is a
well,
great hole in my
spoiler,
education.
they don't really end up being, they're about as much ninjas as Shen is. We'll put it that way. But they do, you know, flip around and swing swords and things. So, you know, ninja-esque, but not really ninjas. Yeah. Woody and Buzz are about as much of a ninja as Shen is, though. And the surf ninjas. I don't know. Fans.
Yeah,
Some
it's
of
actually
them more famous than others.
it's also a holiday, national holiday here in
Yeah,
Korea.
it's-
So we have a lot of people in the studio to
It's,
enjoy these qualifiers.
Korean Memorial Day today, actually. Yep.
So
there you go.
why not remember the veterans by watching some League of Legends? I think that's the
right.
intent.
Why not? You know, celebrating what an awesome country this has become, you know? That's a good thing.
I think it's great.
Yeah, true enough, right? Actually, we've got a lot of fans in the studio. Usually, you know, the Korean fans, they like the big matches. They like the finals. They like, you know, the big famous teams. They're not as into qualifiers. So usually we don't have as many fans coming to the studio for these types of matches, but today it's pretty packed. We've got a lot of people. Yeah.
Well, a lot of these Inven fans, too, which I think is
Yeah.
really cool. It's fun to see a new team have cheers this loud and
Definitely. Yep.
be here for this. So
It'll never be like Mad Life level, but I don't know. If they make it through, though, Woody and Buzz jokes all season long. Woody and Buzz jokes as far as the eye can see. It'll be great.
Well, looks like actually right now Che
There's-
has left the game.
Has he?
So having some what appear to be audio issues at the moment. So sorry about the delay, guys.
Che, formerly Ink, formerly Boink.
Keeps changing his ID.
He was, he was Boink, and then he just chopped off a couple letters, became Ink, and then now he just changed it completely. It's just Che. That's because his last name is Che. So really, really no real creativity goes into that ID, unfortunately.
A lot of players just naming themselves after their
I
real
know,
names
it's-
these days.
It's getting boring. Like the teams are just 1 and 2, and everybody has their own names. Like, come on. All right, well, finally, here we go, guys. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, the first game of the night. Jin Air Stealths versus Invengers. starring Woody and Buzz. I think the Avengers would have been great if they would have started Woody and Buzz.
Would have made things a lot more interesting, that's for sure. Chaser is taking a look out here. Right outside to see if there is going to be a delay invade coming through that river. He's got to be careful, though.
With a name like
too close to that bush.
With a name like that, I would think he's an NA player.
Chaser. He's actually just there to wash the bitter aftertaste out of your mouth.
I suppose it's true. He shows up after the gank and he's like, "Hey guys, how'd it go? Was I supposed to be down here? I'm farming. It's really important, guys, that I farm. I can't gank every lane at once."
Well, looks like we will see an invade here. 4-man. Up through the top side. Trace and Che and Chaser and Captain Jack are all coming to meet this, though. They have a good idea of what's going on. It's a risky invade at this point because there weren't any early deep wards in.
Yeah, let's see.
They know where Lulu is, so it's going to be a 4v4, but I think the advantage here, it goes over to the Jin Air Stealths. They have more CC.
Will there be a ward? Oh, they're just going right through the blue zone. Here they go, jumping onto JAS. Nice Aqua Prison, but will JAS get away? No, he won't. First blood goes to Lulu. Flash over the wall from Rouching. He's going to make it out. They're still chasing, though. Can they get Roar? And actually, Che going to flash for that one. There's a nice glitter lance going through the team, but it looks like Jin Air's getting a bit too low. That Aqua Prison preventing more deaths from happening, but the kill on to JAS, not a bad start. And it was Fly that picked that one up, too.
And Kinch had a couple good multi-person Aqua Prisons to actually make that a lot less bad than it could have been otherwise.
Definitely.
Kinch and Roar, who I guess is going by Roars this game.
Roars.
Going to be heading down into bot to deal with Trace, but it's a pretty good situation for Jin Air. They dodged that long-range poke lane with a melee support, and they get the Jax in the 1v2 instead of the punishing 1v1 from Shyvana. But as a result, we're going to have no jungle follows this game, so we may see an early dive. Necklet using that satchel charge to get out of the base. He did hit level 2.
Yep, and he did have to take that satchel charge first as well, just to stay a bit safer in that level 1 fight.
So 2 summoners used in the mid lane from Fly, so he's going to have to play a little carefully. Chaser getting very low.
Yeah, oh wow, barely gets that blue buff. That was pretty close.
Yeah, red buff right there for Chaser.
Oh,
nearly takes him out. Trace still there, going to be following through in the jungle. So he managed to pick up some CS, though, before Roars and Kinch could get into lane. Same thing with JAS. They're both level 2 right now. But Trace will be able to continue jungling for a little while at the moment. Now, if Shyvana goes back to lane, there's a good chance she's going to get dove 4-man here at about 5 minutes. So this is a really risky situation for JAS. He also is going to have a hard time farming out that topside jungle because that's the side where Jin Air Stealths have the most pressure and men on the map.
After that first death, too, you can be sure that Jin Air is going to try to kind of extend that lead in their top laner versus the enemy top laner and just continually pick on him.
Yeah, JAS really doesn't want to be there right now. This is so dangerous.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Trace and Chaser coming up. They are going to dive. JAS, yeah, he needs to back off, and he will back off. Okay.
Yeah, he did go and get awarded the Tri-Brush, but even so, this is a big waste of time, especially since JAS had teleport up. He should have...
Oh, Rouching coming in. They're going to try to make a play on the Fly. Fly does not have flash, but the Cocoon misses.
Yeah, JAS definitely should have been trying to jungle in the bottom side jungle right now as opposed to getting onto this wave up in the top lane. His teleport, because as soon as he saw the enemy, then he knows whether he can safely teleport up there or not. But as a result, he's wasted a lot of time, and they're going to come back up now.
Yep. Chaser just finishing off the last Wraith. And JAS could be in trouble yet again. No wards there really spotting him, it looks like.
They're coming around the long way. Yeah. They're going to box him in.
They're going through a ward, but it's too late. Rouching is there, but it will be 2v4. Can they catch him? There's action in the top lane. Looks like JAS will get away. Our observer already knew it was up. He's like, yeah, they're not going to catch him.
JAS used his flash, however, and he really didn't get anything out of that. In the meantime, Trace has actually managed to hit level 3, so now a level advantage for Jackson. This is just a poorly executed lane swap from the Invengers.
Well, I feel like we're seeing kind of a repeat of SKTS versus Prime Sentinel from yesterday.
Yeah, and now the wave pushing back towards Lucian, so we'll see if they decide to hand off the wave to Jax at this stage or whether they're happy with how things are going on the top side of the map right now.
Well, they do have Trace up around there. We'll see what he decides to do.
Gonna continue with the jungle follow for the moment.
All right. Yep, just doing some more damage. Looks like they may just go ahead and push this turret quickly.
Yep, not a bad idea, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get that down before you leave it up to Jax up in the top lane for a freeze. Now, okay, they're just going to push hard then. They could have perhaps tried to bounce the wave back right there, but they didn't do it. So instead, just going to get the tower down, deny, and then allow Jax to teleport. Trace's teleport is back up.
Oh, but I think they spotted Rauching coming into there. Yeah, they'll throw a ward just to make sure. Jungle follow continued. Roars, dives underneath the turret.
Yeah, you can't dive this Jax, though.
Yeah. Trace under the turret. There's
you
Racer.
can if they get poked on the way in, however.
Yeah, they just took a lot of damage getting to that minion wave.
Oh, it's a race, and there's another wave coming in, but Roars does take one shot.
This is a little bit awkward.
It's okay. This is actually really good because they cleared out the wave, and now
Fly and Necklet. Necklet still has both of his summoners, and Fly doesn't have any mana, so that's kind of as far as that's going to go.
Trace can teleport right away, though. A little bit late for Che. Che probably should have made the rotation into the bottom lane a little bit sooner because it was a bit risky. Typically, you can't dive at Jax, but if they get behind you and poke you like that, it becomes very dangerous. They're trying to bait out a dive right here, but the ward does see Che standing in the mini golem brush.
Yep. And so Roars will just poke Trace a little bit more as he lowers health on that turret as well.
They can do this 3v3. Kog'Maw only has a Doran's Blade right now. Meanwhile, 2 Doran's Blades for Jax.
Doesn't look like they're going to try it. Yeah, killing the mini golems instead.
The reason why is they don't know where Ziggs is, and Alulu just recalled.
I see.
But as soon as they know where Ziggs is, they can actually make a play.
It's going to be a while,
back into lane, and they have to do something right here. They should have good enough vision control, and they can't just let this tower fall for free. There's a cannon minion wave.
Yep, this could be the end of the tower. Invengers, yeah, looks like they're going to get this one.
Wow.
No contest. Man.
It's all because Ziggs backed right there. Had they known where Ziggs was, they could have fought that. They definitely had an item advantage and the advantage in the 3v3. As it is, though, they did force the Invengers to push down the tower very quickly instead of standing there while the tower killed the minion wave. So Jax, at the very least, the upside is that he'll get a lane freeze out of this.
Yeah, he's already gonna. Oh, he's already a little bit ahead on Ready Dawn. He's going to continue to sort of increase that CS lead.
Yeah, this is a good situation for Jax right now. So just because of their presence there, it didn't buy the Invengers a luxury of actually being able to properly wait for the wave to die and get it pushing back towards their tier 1. So now a freeze. Got to come in the top lane, looks like, as well. We do see Lucian recalling. Captain Jack going to go back and pick up some much-needed items, see what he gets, and he'll get nearly a Bloodthirster right there.
Yeah, and that's versus just the Phage from Roars. And it looks like, though, the Invengers are going for this Dragon. I don't think there's really much that Jin Air can do. Fly, yeah, can't stop it. Nice little move. Keeping even on the gold, at least.
Well, that's the price you pay for freezing a couple of lanes. Now, that said, Trace is pushing this out now. Roars and Kinch coming in just to get a little farm. I guess they feel safe enough right there. They do have Elise right there with the timer on the red buff.
Oh, yeah. Rauching is just going to go and steal the red.
Like, they sacrificed an early dragon for farm in a couple lanes, which is actually a fine trade to make. You'll notice that they still have a gold lead right now. They have a level lead on Jax, so this is actually a very good situation for the Jin Air Stealths. Yeah,
and I mean, the thing is in a situation like this, I feel like Jin Air probably has the attitude, too, is that against a newer team like the Invengers, they can just kind of wait for the mistakes to happen, you know? At some point, the Invengers are going to make a mistake.
Well,
and
they've
if
already
Jin Air plays safe, another mistake, I guess.
They've already made a lot of mistakes, I think, in this game. So.
And Jin Air, you know, they can just kind of sit back and continue to capitalize on those.
So, yeah, they are taking a lot of damage now down onto this bottom lane turret. And at this point in the game, when they have this lead, they may think about pressuring a little bit, because the reason why Rauching is able to be down here and pushing on a tier 2 is because Captain Jack is putting on absolutely no pressure in the top lane.
Yeah, just farming. And Necklet has the satchel charge out of there. Chaser was coming in, but decided to turn around after Ziggs escape. Meanwhile, in the bot lane,
they can't
a lot
just
of damage on there.
I think they're trading too much for this lane freeze now. They need to actually start putting on pressure while they have this advantage. The Lucian is well ahead of the Kog'Maw. As soon as he finishes that Bloodthirster, he's going to be in a great timing window.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Chasers stole the Wraith, or, yeah, the Wraith. Which is pretty good. But they're going to lose the bot lane turret. So a little turret lead starting out early on for the Invengers.
Wow, they're very much overvaluing this freeze on the AD carry. In fact, Trace could have just gone top lane right there for the freeze and had Captain Jack hold down the tier 2 or push up to the tier 1.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of options here for Jin Air, and they didn't really do much of anything with them.
Little gank attempt in the mid lane from the Invengers, but Fly has no trouble at all getting out of that.
Jin Air just doing a terrible job of reacting to these sieges.
Yeah, what is this? I mean, it just doesn't seem like they want to try to stop it at all. No engages, nothing, and with the Invengers grouping up as 5, it does put a lot of pressure on Jin Air to group up as well, you know, make something happen.
Okay, finally Trace is actively pushing out right now. Captain Jack just happy freezing up in the top lane.
Hey, yo, Captain Jack.
Hey, yo, Captain Jack. I mean, he is 2 levels up, and he does have a significant amount more CS, but it's costing his team a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't do them any good if he's just sitting up there.
Map pressure and global gold. Now, in order to make the most out of this situation, Jin Air needs to try and get a freeze very deep into the bottom lane and just have Jax continually farm that so they can get him late.
Roars squaring off against Trace in the bot lane now.
He needs to be really careful.
Yeah, this Jax could probably tear him apart with only the Phage available on Roars at the moment. Oh yeah, here comes Chaser too.
Good timing from Rauching and from Kinch as they move up into the lane.
Whenever I say the ID Rouching, I feel like I'm just saying roaching with an accent.
Rauching.
Rouching. You know? Doing a bit of rouching, whatever that is.
Well, Fly has been pretty bullyish in the mid lane as well. He's jumped out to a little bit of an edge.
Yeah.
Captain Jack still freezing. Captain Jack, okay. I mean, if you want to invest this much in the Lucian, that's fine. It's a decision that the Jin Air Stealths are making. So once that Bloodthirster comes in, we have to see what they actually do with it. Because if they froze the lane for this long and they're not going to hit a power spike now as a result of this, they are silly.
Well, you got to think that he would have had that Bloodthirster a long time ago already. Yeah, picking up a lot of stuff on that back, including his finished Bloodthirster.
And now they hand over the freeze to Trace, who does have a sizable CS lead and a 1-level lead at the moment as well. So Shyvana really been starved out, not getting a whole lot of XP, still having to go back into the jungle.
I suppose it just seems like the plan, you know, Jin Air just playing it safe. Maybe too safe, who knows, Che? Oh, he's going to Zenith Blade in, actually, on Rouching and Kinch.
Nice
the Aqua Prison. Yeah, he doesn't get hit with it. They're going to chase. There's a teleport coming down from Trace, culling over the wall. Will this be a few more kills? There's a counter-strike onto Rouching, but can they finish him off? Ready Dot did teleport down as well, but only teleported down to die, possibly. Got really low, and Roars came back in. He will be able to kite back. Meanwhile, Necklet just getting harassed by Fly. Wards in all the brushes, so it's not like Necklet can use that. Oh, he gets Fly on the minefield, though. Ziggs might win this one. It's close. The Ignite taking down. There's the Wild Growth. Oh, man. He gets him, and the bouncing bomb in return doesn't do it.
He got Wild Growth baited so hard right there. I was just sitting there looking at his Wild Growth. I was like, oh, his Wild Growth is still up. Well, that's it. But yeah, waiting till the last second to use that so he could get the Ignite down. He saw the heal go down a little bit earlier, so his Ignite wasn't really affected by that ability at all.
Wild Growth baiting is definitely one of the most fun things to do on Lulu.
Well, and that was exactly what the Jin Air Stealths needed. They made a decision to go ahead and get this power spike on the Lucian, and they did a lot with it. Of course, they also had the advantage on the Jax, and hopefully, if you're a Jin Air Stealths fan, they will be able to get this second dragon right here now that they've managed to actually take a lot more control over this game.
Yeah, well, everyone kind of gravitating towards that part of the map right now. The mid lane pushing a little bit, but they've got plenty of wave clear, so that won't be a problem to push back. And yep, there's just a ward from Shay.
And that's why I really love the new lane swap matDh, is that strategic decisions are so interesting and they're very clear. And so you can actually tell a lot about what a team's goals are as to how they behave in a lane swap. And then it's easy to judge them on their performance afterwards.
True enough. And the Invengers. A lot of people going to be judging their performance, I'm sure, on the internet after this game. Win or lose. A little bit of damage done to that bot turret, about half the health. Done by Captain Jack and Shay. Looks like they'll get this ward as well. Yep, all right. So yeah, like you said, the pressure coming on. Now Dragon is up. It's just up to Jin Air to sort of find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, and Fly has actually gotten a lot of damage onto that mid lane turret, a bit surprisingly against a Ziggs.
Yeah.
And here we go, Trace scouting out the Dragon Pit.
Well, there is a ward there, so the Invengers know they came down. They should be able to see that.
Captain Jack zoned out a little bit. This is not the best positioning for him.
Yeah.
But the Dragon's being done right now, and there's no contest. It just gets easily taken.
That's that, yeah.
Wow, so they grouped up as 5, not even to put any pressure on the Dragon whatsoever. That was a pretty big misplay for the Invengers. And even worse, there's no objective that they can take on the bottom side of the map.
They may be able to catch Captain Jack here. Nope, Cocoon gets dodged. Meanwhile, Fly takes that mid lane turret, and things starting to snowball a little bit into the Jin Air Stealths' favor now.
Yeah, they really made a mistake to go all 5 into the bottom lane. They had to make sure that they got some control over the Dragon because they couldn't take a red buff. They couldn't take a bottom tier, a bottom turret after that at all. And so...
Well, it's odd. I mean, they just kind of milled around. They didn't really do anything while they were down there.
Well, they didn't get any farm in the other lanes at that point either, so really bad decision.
Looks like the spot lane turret's going to be a goner as well, too, and suddenly all the outer turrets taken down by the Jin Air Stealths, and the Invengers really put on the back foot already.
Yep, and this Jack's pretty terrifying at this point. Doesn't have his Blade of the Ruin King completed, but the only thing that's preventing that is a recall at this point. And we do see JAS going for some more offensive stats, and a lot of gold. Captain Jack is rich, and he's going to get Zerkers and a Phage off of that recall. He is in a really good position right now, and they need to press this advantage very, very hard.
Seems like they are. So far, the lane's pushing in Jin Air's favor, and not a lot that the Invengers can do about it at the moment. At least not yet.
I think Trace is waiting for another couple hundred gold to finish his blade, actually, so he'll be there soon enough, however.
Sure enough. Cannon minions tend to help with that. All right, Invengers trying to push up the mid lane now, but it's so hard to push against Lulu, even with 4 people. That Glitter Lance can clear out the minion waves really quick, as we see there.
Yeah, a lot of
Shay, there's a solar flare. They get Necklin routing. Captain Jack coming up as well. The tidal wave comes through, but a little bit too late. And Jin Air just all over this Invengers team.
Man, they are hitting Captain Jack's power spikes ridiculously well.
Yeah, he was right there at the exact right time.
So it is, oh boy.
Oh boy, yep. There goes Roars.
And this is the thing is, when you make that kind of strategic decision to freeze the lane with an AD carry and trade up some turrets for it, well, you have to make the most of it, but it's hard to criticize the Jin Air Stealths because they're really smashing. Every time he goes back to recall, pick up a new item, get a new power spike, they immediately all in.
Yeah.
And they win the fights pretty convincingly just because their timing on item buy windows is so good.
They are all over the Invengers like Loki on New York.
Great analogy.
There you go. There's my Avengers thing for the day.
Let's take a look at this again. Nice solar flare and chaining
really
it right onto his Ziggs as well. He just gets burned. And Kinship gets a tidal wave, but they're too spread out for it to be really, truly effective.
Yeah. Tidal wave is a little bit late too, but what do you do?
Well, it's a pretty sudden engage, to be fair.
Yeah.
And now we do see Fly. He actually is going for the Lich Bane faster this time, which I love. Now, normally, ever since the Lich Bane nerfs, this used to be the most common build onto Lulu. But now it's mostly Lich Bane as a 3rd core item and a Death Cap as a 2nd. But in this circumstance, when you have a large lead already, and you just really want to push down towers as fast as you can, just abuse the fact that you're already ahead.
Oh, Rouching gets a bit caught as well. They get him with the Whimsy. They're going to let him probably go, yeah. Whoa! Random Ziggs ultimate there.
It was a zoning ult, though.
It was a zoning ult, right. Right.
And now they're going to give up the blue buff as well. Of course, Ziggs desperately needing that, but Jin Air Stealths just really all over the Invengers this game.
I never have a zoning ultimate. They're always exactly where they need to be.
They're killing ultimates only.
That's right. My ultimates are like Gandalf, man. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
And they're just putting on some pressure in between the lanes just to help out Captain Jack, get some uncontested damage now down onto a tier 2 tower.
Yeah.
And they're just 1-3-1-ing with the Lulu with Lichbane. They know that there's not really anybody that can stop the Jax. There's not really anybody who can stop the Lulu solo. And so they're just abusing this. I mean, it's actually pretty impressive how well the Jin Air Stealths are putting on pressure.
Yeah, they're kind of taking them to school right now. You know, whenever I see the white now, I'm like, soon you will be a frog.
I think it's cool. Man, that visual update is awesome.
It does look really good. I just can't wait for all the Battletoads jokes I can make. It's going to be awesome. Gonna fight the Battletoad.
Yeah, it's great that they're refreshing the game like that. It's so fun as somebody who started playing the game.
Oh, wow. Necklet.
As somebody like me who started playing the game in beta, the difference in 4 years of League of Legends is really pretty astounding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've only been playing since about 2011, so I've really seen mostly the character visual reworks, you know, come in, but looks good. Soon you'll be able to buy items from a walrus in a boat. Yeah, you see that? Like
why does the walrus need a boat? He can swim.
That's a really excellent question.
Walruses aren't made for boats, Riot.
Riot, please. Now the visual update's delayed for another 4 months. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Monte Cristo. Walrus in a boat. Would have been perfectly fine, and then you ruined it. I like the new Dragon. I like the new minion spawning animations. If you guys have seen the video, you know, where they kind of like come into the camp from outside and stuff. It's neat.
Fantastic job. Especially after the Twisted Tree Line update, too. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Oh. You know, I have actually never played a game of Dominion.
You're not missing much.
I've never actually done it. I don't know. I've played Twisted Tree Line a little bit, but not for a couple years. Not since 2012, I think it was the last time I played that.
Long time. Well, Pink Ward and Green Ward in the pit, just as double security. And no Oracle's Lens yet, and they think that there's not another ward there, so sometimes it's great to have both kinds of wards because you can mind game your opponent that way.
We've been seeing more and more of that lately, actually, where they'll just throw 2 down because you kill the Pink Ward and you think you've gotten everything, you know, as far as vision goes, and there's another stealth ward there. Soon you'll be a frog.
Pretty darn smart. Man, the Baron visual update, so good.
It is. I'm going to miss his neck mouths, but oh well.
I think current Baron looks kind of goofy.
He's not going to be. He sort of looks like the little brother of the worm on the asteroid in Empire Strikes Back that tries to eat the Millennium Falcon. He kind of looks like that right now.
Only if Disney made him?
That's right, yeah, if Disney made him. Yeah. You know, bigger eyes, animated.
Purple.
Sings all the time. But now Baron's just going to be a big monster.
I think that's what Baron deserves, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose. It's true. Ult tries to take out the minions, but it's not enough. And we're just witnessing the slow death, the slow choking out
It's not actually that slow with this 1-3-1.
Well, I mean, slow compared to like a 20-minute surrender, you know?
You have very high standards for speed, though.
I do.
League of Legends.
Too fast, too furious, man. Ride together, we die together. That's what the Fast and Furious people say. Except in Tokyo Drift, because they weren't really in that. Except for the very end.
I've only actually seen the first movie in Tokyo Drift. I've never seen any of the other ones.
I'm such a sucker for those movies. They're not Oscar material, but they're really fun. I enjoy it. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Trying to create a pick on the outside. I don't think that the Invengers are actually going to walk there, though.
I don't think so, yeah. I mean, and do the Jin Air Stealths really even need to do this, you know? Can't they just continue that split push?
Yes, they absolutely can. They can also just go do this Baron.
Just do Baron, all right. Or at least set up a pick for Baron anyway.
Well, they need to go back and buy some more pink wards if they actually want to take full control. They're just trying to bait wherever they can. Eventually, one of these is going to work.
See, they're with me. They want to just finish this, you know?
And you
they
can see
could push it, but they just want to get the kills and win the game.
The positioning is really good right here. One of the best things about Kog'Maw right now is how he can safely check brushes.
Oh, Solar Flare on Rouching. He's going to flash away, but there's the Agony's Embrace. Roar's actually doing some really decent damage, and that was a great Zigzag. Jin Air overextending for that one a bit. Necklet gets a kill. He's going to get jumped on by Trace and Che, though. Now ReadyDot jumping into the fray. Captain Jack still doing a lot of damage from the outside, and the item advantage for Jin Air may come through. No, but not quite. Roars was doing enough damage, and Jin Air, you know, I know we're seeing like Team Maximum throwing later today, but I feel like we're getting a little bit of a taste of that maybe right now.
It's a preview. Well, the problem there is they actually had a lot of money. They hadn't been back in a while, and they way overcommit to this. Look how many movement abilities and flashes are used to not even kill Kish right there, and it just sets them up for such a nice turnaround. Also, the late teleport coming in, and Necklet uses the heal. Goes down very, very slowly.
You know, looked like for a moment Captain Jack was going to be able to turn it around with the interference from Trace and Che, but this was not enough.
Way overcommitted to that engage.
Yeah.
And they could have gone back and been less greedy. They could have gone back, actually used some of the money that they had gained from that siege and got some more wards and vision down.
Now, it doesn't really change a whole lot, but it does slow things down quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a 9K gold lead. Now they have the pink wards they need down. It really, I mean, in spite of the loss in that team fight, the Invengers really didn't get anything at all. They couldn't even push down the mid lane turret afterwards. So.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't really make a big difference. It was just kind of embarrassing. That's about it.
And here we go. Back up there, Elise going to take out a pink ward. Nothing that Evelyn can do to defend that. As they continue to split push, getting all that pressure down, and here we go. Fly and Che moving forward.
Huh.
Ward over the wall.
Yeah,
Captain Jack is there. Now Jack has a Sheen. So Sheen and Lich Bane going to kill this tower very fast.
Yep, they should be able to do it, and that tower will die extremely fast. Fly gets bounced into the base, though, and look at all the damage. They'll get him. Roar with the kill, and they got the slow into Che. Nice Aqua Prison, and they'll be able to get a double kill for Roars as well.
That was such a good satchel charge.
Yeah. Yeah, Necklet looking really good on the Ziggs.
They got some turret damage, but that's just going to heal up over time. Trace still split pushing up top, and the Jin Air Stealths having to wait further, just a little bit longer now.
I mean, they're still okay, but you can't keep doing stuff like that. A few more times, and they're going to be in trouble.
That's right. It will take a few more times, however.
Yes. So it's unlikely, but still.
They'd be doing much better at baiting out the Baron right now. The reason why they're reluctant is because Kog'Maw does give that vision with his ultimate.
Yeah.
So they can't just stand in a brush because it will be checked by Roar first. But they were trying to find a more creative place to stand where he wouldn't be checking, like in the red buff pit in that last attempt, but they were too far away to actually make that gank successful.
Well, there are some wards there as well, too. Yep. More wards going down for the Invengers. Just doing a good job of retaking the vision control over their jungle.
Trace is in bottom, but he doesn't have a port. Meanwhile, ReadyDot does, so this is not the best play from the Jin Air Stealths either. They need to actually start grouping at this point.
Well, Chaser way on the bottom of the map, too. He's going to have to run his way up to the top as well. And Invengers just continue to clear out those wards.
Captain Jack is a core item ahead. He should be able really just to tear up these team fights, but they can't overcommit. Sonya's Hourglass next down on Fly, so he can avoid some of the burst.
Huh, wow.
And also ride out the tidal wave more than likely.
Oh, they're going to try to catch Che, but can't quite do it. Ziggs is dangerous, though. Oh, okay, they're just going to go for Baron. There is no vision right now for the Invengers, but they should have a pretty good idea what's going on. Although, yeah, now they're going to start moving towards the pit. Will it be there in time? Rouching has an opportunity to steal this if he goes right in. Baron getting a bit low, and Jin Air backs off, not wanting to deal with this. They know that their better chances come from the team fight, but they have been MR shredded a little bit. That's going to cause a bit of a problem.
Just poking. It was the right idea to turn. You really don't want to get that 50-50 yet. But they couldn't actually bait out the fight they needed. The Invengers with their long-range poke from Kog'Maw and from Ziggs are causing a lot of problems in terms of actually engaging here.
Yeah. It's a crazy game. It's gotten to be a little bit throwy.
Well, it's a Ziggs game, so it's really difficult to actually siege right there. You can keep taking away his blue buff. There's the ultimate from Ziggs. Not actually going to do very much damage.
Yeah. Tried to take the blue with that, but it was just a bit late.
Yeah, even though most members on Jin Air are a full core item ahead, they really just can't actually press this advantage.
Yeah.
They're not strong enough to dive yet. They couldn't take the Baron quite quickly enough, and they just don't have the vision control either. They need to buy an Oracle's lens. This is getting silly.
Yeah, a little bit.
With this kind of lead in 31 minutes, the fact that they don't have an Oracle's lens is a little baffling.
They're making Monty mad playing .jpg.
They are. But Kinch has actually switched over to a blue trinket, or Roar has actually, so that's going to be very valuable because as long as they can get between the Kog'Maw ult and the blue trinket, they will more than likely be able to get vision even when they don't have wards. So that's actually a really good pickup on this Cog.
Yeah, it'll make sure that Jin Air won't get those picks that they're trying to do. And now, what in the world is this? Invengers pushing down the mid lane.
Teleport's up for Jax.
Yep. Teleport available for both top laners. Looks like they may try to go in on this one. They are going to try to. Zenith Blades ends up hitting Rouching. The tidal wave comes over the top. Trace on top of their AD carry. There goes Roars. A kill for Captain Jack, but he's got to be careful about his positioning. He's going to run up, try to take people out. They did a little bit of damage, but getting that AD carry is pretty big.
They still have the Ziggs wave clear, however, and Ziggs is at full HP, so they should actually just turn on to the Baron at this point.
Yeah, looks like that's what they're going to do. Rouching is a bit low, but he'll be able to go back and heal and maybe get back to the Baron pit in time. Bought those home guards. Didn't heal up completely. Oh, they're going to find Necklet. Can they actually slumber something?
No, there's teleport from Jax.
Yep, fly coming in. Jax over the top, going to finish off Necklet. Now they can really turn onto that Baron. Captain Jack and Chaser a little bit low, but it should be okay. Yeah, Captain Jack just sustaining off the creeps easily.
Great decision by Trace. Yeah. And they take out that very important Ziggs, the one who's really going to do a lot of damage to them while they're grouped up into the pit. Now, Rouching is still alive.
Yeah, Roars is still alive, or back alive again right now as well, too. So
unfortunately, he's not close at all.
He's not going to get down in time. Yep, there it is, an easy Baron for the Jin Air Stealths. They're going to jump over the wall onto Rouching. Nice wild growth onto Jax. Ready Don, a bit of trouble as well. Elise managed to get out.
Great.
Oh, not managed to get out, actually.
Great culling. Yeah, Elise jumped into the Baron pit where Chaser was just waiting for him. But a fantastic engage over the wall with Leona, and Captain Jack just hitting every single proc on that culling. And now they'll easily be able to push forward.
Yeah, now it's looking pretty unlikely that the
well,
Jin Air...
they have a Lichbane and 2 Sheens. These towers just, you can't give them any time. They'll kill it in half a wave, as we saw right there.
Yep, and there goes the first inhibitor of the game, getting taken by the Jin Air Stealths.
Captain Jack, Mr. Moneybags, 4,000 gold.
Should go buy another big item.
He'll buy himself a nice fancy Infinity Edge, no doubt.
Yep. Or maybe a Warmogs. Nope, there's the IE. Remember back in the days where everybody just built Warmogs every game?
That was the best of times.
Yep.
Early Season 3.
Yep.
League of Black Cleaver, League of Warmogs.
Cleaver Fever, League of Warmogs, yep. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Mostly the worst of times.
Mostly the worst of times, yes.
Those fights where everybody had Warmogs were incredibly long.
Yeah. They'd all get Warmogs, and then everyone would get the... Guardian Angel.
Yep.
I'm totally out of it today, by the way. I don't know what the deal is.
So, Super Minions up right now. Should be pretty easy for the Stealths to finish this game off.
Yeah,
even with the Ziggs, like the split pushing is just going to be too much for the Invengers to handle. They're going after another dragon in spite of their 15,000 gold lead.
After, you know, kind of losing a couple fights earlier, I suppose you can't blame them for being a little bit more shy than they necessarily should be, but still. They should know. I mean, they've got Baron buff now, too. They should be able to hit tab, look at the items, and be like, all right, we can win. How hard is it? Really?
Yeah, this Jax is so far ahead. 2 levels ahead on Siobhan as well. Really nothing going to stop Trace in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to actually catch Neko. Wow, he died fast. Yep.
Leona passive plus the burst coming in from Lucian now that he has the Infinity Edge.
No Ziggs for 50 seconds. That should be enough to finish up the game. Roars just does not have enough damage himself. Wild Growth used by Fly. Stay alive against JAS. They managed to kill Roaching in that as well. There goes another turret. Another inhibitor soon to follow. I would imagine Captain Jack just going to duel with Roars. Roars so low, the tidal wave not hitting anyone at all. Looks like they just want to be very, very thorough. They're going for the fantasy points at this one. All the inhibitors, all the turrets. There we go. JAS trying to come in over the top, and Roars getting shot in the pit. Wow. In the fountain. They're going to be able to take out JAS. Now turning onto the Nexus, and that is it. The Jin Air Stealths will fly to victory. Mach speed in game number 1. Maybe a little bit lower than Mach speed, like 0.5 Mach speed. I don't know.
Well, rough first game, but
yeah,
the early game was turned out really well by the Jin Air Stealths. They made some sacrifices. They probably didn't have to sacrifice the tier 2 and bottom. I think that was